Hey guys, Derek here. Welcome back to the channel. We are back to watch the season 1 finale of Andor. This show is incredible. I think this is easily my favorite live action Star Wars show. If they can nail this season finale, I think it will vault it into my favorite live action Star Wars thing in general. Like, I think I'll enjoy it better than Empire Strikes Back. Like, I think it legitimately to this point you can make an argument that it's better than Empire. And from everything I've heard, this season finale, it does not disappoint, and it is just as fantastic as the rest of the season. So I'm honestly just way too excited to jump into it, and I don't really want to talk a whole lot before I jump into it. You may notice upgraded camera quality here. That's because I just got a new camera, and I'm very excited. This new camera is brought to you by my patrons because they gave me the money to buy it. But I am still testing things out with it. So if things are kind of a little wonky here and now, please be patient. I'm still kind of trying to learn how to make this work in the same way that my phone is what I previously was recording on. Trying to make it as easy as that one. But before we jump into this, if you end up enjoying my reaction, please leave a like on the video. It means a lot to me, helps my channel out a ton. If you're new here or you find yourself coming back often, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you're notified when I upload, especially if you want to see me react to more Star Wars stuff, including Andor Season 2, The Bad Batch when that comes back, or really any other Star Wars related stuff. I pretty much watch all of it. And then if you are interested in seeing the full uncut version of this reaction, that is linked in the description below. I post all those over on Patreon, so if you find that that's something you're interested in, consider supporting me on Patreon. But other than that, let's jump into the Season 1 finale of Andor. Why does my nose itch? Who is this? The one dude's son? Or what? What did that guy just craft there? Good old Lambda shuttle. That looks like the shuttle from Rogue One next to it. God, look how cool this looks. Wasashade. This guy making a pipe bomb? What is he doing? His dad was the one that was tortured. He looks like he's making some sort of explosive device.
He asked about the funeral. Let's walk. Who else knows this? No one.
That guy that was watching now knows. Ooh, she's watching them too. She's being sneaky. God, she's so good. Okay, he's definitely making a pipe bomb, right? This is an explosive. Kid knows what he's doing.
Guarantee you he's got no idea what's going on. Bank on that. I won't be so sure. Hey.
This dude is gonna feed info to the Empire because he doesn't like Cassian, because Cassian owes him money. They set this up early season, like episode 2. This is like watching like yeah, he's got a picture of his dad. This is like watching Mindhunter, weirdly it reminds me of. And there's an episode of Mindhunter where they're showing the events of the episode, but they keep cutting back to this like serial killer that's like preparing his kill, or you know, doing that sort of thing. And not to say this kid's a serial killer, but it's the same film technique where he's just cutting back and forth as this dude prepares. Meanwhile, Mommy Mothma's unbuttoning her jacket.
You're gambling again.
Nonsense.
And here, in Coruscant.
That's ridiculous.
Is he?
It's a lie. It's total fantasy. Who's telling you this?
Oh,
No, I'm serious.
Parent, please.
he is not
Who's
giving
saying
them
just-
privacy.
You can't live without a casino, fine. You go to Canto Bight. Do
Canto Bite
whatever it is you need
from the
to
sequel trilogy. We know what that is.
Where would I get the money?
do. That's the question that scares me the most.
Someone's lying to you.
Is she doing this on purpose? Does she know the driver's listening? And she's trying to lay some groundwork for why they could be missing a whole bunch of money? Bro, that's so smart.
I was on my way to pick you up and they left the hotel dressed like locals. I had to follow. They're getting ready, Val.
They are indeed. She's so focused on the mission, she just barely even notices her. They're supposed to be in love and she's like barely even looking at her.
Here's the thing, Cassian. The man that sees everything is more blessed than cursed. Look at that, here we go. Stand back, let it drip.
Yes, more Clem.
Now don't look down, now don't look past the rust. Not us though, eh?
Is that his brick? Clem's brick? That's sad.
There will be times when the struggle seems impossible. I know this already. Alone, unsure, dwarfed by the scale of the enemy. Freedom is a pure idea.
Why am I gonna cry right now?
Remember that the frontier of the rebellion is everywhere, and even the smallest act of insurrection pushes our lines forward.
Yes.
Tyranny requires constant effort. It breaks. It leaks. Authority is brittle. Oppression is the mask of fear.
Ooh, the subtle transition from the distorted audio file
The
to
day
the
will come when all these skirmishes
cleaner
and
one.
battles, these moments of defiance will have flooded the banks of the Empire's authority, and then there will be one too many. One single thing will break the siege. Try.
Ooh. Why did that make me very emotional? Ooh. God, she looks so good.
It sounded like Perrin had done this before.
They've made some odd banking moves recently.
Laying the groundwork for their financial inconsistencies. God, just the way she carries herself. This like air of disgust. Okay, his ship is so cool. I wonder if they will address the theory that he is a secret Jedi. Because that would kind of be bonkers if he was. There's things here and there that add up where he could be. Kyber crystal, his walking staff kind of looks like a lightsaber. Brother! How you doing? Big hugs for friendos?
Tell him none of this is his fault. It was already burning. He's just the first spark of the fire. Tell him I love him more than anything he could ever do wrong.
Okay. Friggin' Marva. Wow, this is such a nice scene. Here's a hat for you to spit in. Why did they trade hats? They're just so in sync they don't even have to talk to each other.
They'll do the hunting for us. They'll want him alive, they'll find him, and we'll kill him.
Why? We don't need to kill him.
What's going on?
Indeed, what is going on?
What's going on?
I'm not sure.
Well, figure it out. This is a rebel plot. This whole funeral is a scheme. You know, Marva may truthfully be dead, but they're using it. There's no way she would let her funeral go by without it doing some good. Wow. I wonder if they got like the actual orchestra people that like did the score to play these musical actors. This is a plot. Oh, come on. Give it to us, baby. I'm getting like irrationally hyped right now and I'm trying not to freak out. Ooh, he recognizes him. He knows who you are, brother. He knows who you are.
Back!
Tries to walk through like, just like he's some important guy. There's so many people. They gave him a permit for 40, 50 people and everyone is there. It's the sound of rebellion, baby. Shot from the trailer.
So, she's here.
Oh, Simp City! Number one simp, Cyril Karn, has seen his mommy. Oh! The use of music here is so good. Why is this literally gonna make me cry and nothing is even like legitimately happening? Stone and sky, stone and sky, stone and sky, stone and sky. Oh, she filmed something. I'm gonna cry.
And now I'm dead. And I yearn to lift you. We've been sleeping. We've had each other and Ferrix, our work, our days. We had each other and they left us alone. We kept the trade lanes open and they left us alone.
They're no longer leaving you alone. She's literally inspiring the entire town. This entire place to fight back.
There is a wound that won't heal at the center of the galaxy.
Even Luthen is like, holy shiz, dude.
Like rust.
The fruits of all his labor is appearing right now.
It's here, and it's not visiting anymore. The Empire is a disease that thrives in darkness. It is never more alive than when we sleep.
Why is this?
It's easy for the dead to tell you to fight. And maybe it's true. Maybe fighting's useless.
God, this show is so good.
Perhaps it's too late. But I'll tell you this. If I could do it again, I'd wake up early and be fighting these bastards. From the start. Fight the Empire!
Don't do that! Someone pick B2 up. Oh yeah, hit him with that brick, boy. Oh, this is like almost like the scene in The Dark Knight Rises, but just like way more impactful and emotional because of the message that it's sending. Throw your pipe bomb, dude. What if this guy's playing the long game? What if everything he did was part of it? I don't want to hate this kid, but I do. Who's in the plague doctor mask? Is Seer gonna sacrifice himself? Oh my God. Yo, kid, what a perfectly placed pipe bomb. Hey. Ooh, look at that Terminator run. That's that Terminator run I recognize from Game of Thrones. Oh. Hopefully he doesn't die. Oh yeah, headbutt the armored helmet. This is horrible. This is gonna traumatize some people. Oh, we like him. B2. Someone pick B2 up.
You.
Oh yeah, he recognizes.
What are you doing here?
She's killing you, is what she's doing. You idiot. Why would you walk into this doorway? She's hell-bent for the cause, brother. That's a death trooper. Ooh, okay. Way to take him out. Ooh. Damn, she's getting kind of rocked. I like this guy. Just hammering away. Hit this. Oh, hit, kill him. Just Spartan kicks him off the building. Yo, are they gonna kill her? Or is Cyril Karn, #1 simp senor, gonna save her? Yeah, that's him. Yep.
You!
Yeah, #1 simp supreme. He's simped so hard he saved your life. Don't kiss. Don't kiss.
I knew that.
Don't kiss. I swear to God, don't kiss. Don't kiss. Don't. Don't.
I should say thank you.
You should, but you're not a good person, so... And you're maybe a little bit of a sociopath. He's being both, like, presented with the fruits of his labor in a positive way, like this is what he wanted, but he's also seeing all this death firsthand of what is also the result.
Cassian.
Cassian.
Get it going! Sir.
Yes, thank God.
Hey! Help her up.
Ooh, I wonder if them shooting down this shuttle might be like the final catalyst. The thing that not just inspires Cassian to fight, but like hardens him.
Take care of Biggs until I get there. I'm counting on you.
You always say that.
He always means it.
Come through.
Get them out of here!
Oh, I'm mentally preparing myself for them to die.
Cassian will find us.
I will.
Please don't kill them. Maybe they're good? I guess they're good. I was mentally preparing myself for them to get shot out of the sky. It's your future husband, Lyta.
Prepare for evac. Full stealth.
What if Cassian's on his ship already? Yep, he's here.
You came here to kill me, didn't you?
You don't make it easy.
Facts.
I will now. Kill me. Or take me in.
What if he killed him? Retcon. Retcon Rogue One just shoots him. Don't end. I swear to God. Don't be the end. Oh! Oh, you son of a bitch. Those are the parts that they were making in prison. Oh, literally? Is that the laser array on the Death Star? Wow. 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 I saw people theorize that weeks ago when Cassian was in prison. That he was literally building parts for the Death Star. Like he's building the thing that will kill him. And that's wow. 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 Okay. Yeah, they crushed it. That was a beautiful, beautiful finale. Weirdly it made me cry in multiple points. Like the points where like Marva is inspiring the entire city of Ferrix. Is Ferrix the planet or the city? I think it's the planet, but like she's inspiring them all. to fight against the Empire. And she's not just being like, hey, I don't like them, they suck, but she's like, she's essentially kind of doing the manifesto, Nemec's manifesto, where she's like, well, okay, two separate things. We had Nemec's manifesto earlier, that was great, but then this, when she's inspiring them, oh, bruh. Like, I don't know if it's just like the state of the world over the past 6-ish years that I have been more aware of, just like the rising feeling of fascism and hopelessness, and the idea that we are like subtly letting this in. Some of the things, not to get super political here, but like some of the things that are being said currently by a certain side of the political aisle, 25, 30 years ago, you'd think those things were insane if people said them. But these far right-wing buttholes, like the farthest far right-wing buttholes, have had some of their big talking points kind of brought into the mainstream by prominent Republican individuals, and it has made those talking points themselves more mainstream. And as they happen and as they continue to happen, we forget about one when the next one comes around. And as that continues, each one becomes less and less of a big deal, if that makes sense. And so some of these ideals are here for a minute. People say things and we're like, oh, that guy's crazy. Ignore that, move on. Even supporters in their own political party are like, that's a little over the line. We're not really going to talk about that. I don't associate with that. And then a year later, they're a little more lenient on that. They're like, oh, maybe that guy had a little bit of a point. And then it comes back and it comes back and it comes back. And like Marva's point where she was like, they went away for a while and then they came back. They're not here to visit. They are here to stay. Like, the ideals of fascism and imperialism are not here to visit. They are here to stay. And the only way that they do not completely dismantle society as we know it is if we fight back against those ideals. And it's just, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. Just the whole vibe of this episode, like from start to finish, all these, like it's I don't know how to fully articulate how beautiful it was. Like, you're literally seeing it, like it feels like the episode itself felt like one long musical score, or like one long song to inspire, if that makes sense. Like, the slow, methodical build-up, but like you can tell that something is happening, and you can tell it's leading somewhere beautiful, and it comes to this crescendo of absolute chaos. And I don't even know how to like fully articulate how beautiful this was. But I'm gonna try and go piece by piece, starting from the beginning. I really enjoyed a couple different things from the beginning. I enjoyed the cutting back and forth to the kid who made the bomb, because he's going to do something with it, right? I alluded to in the episode how it felt very similar to an episode of Mindhunter, where we keep cutting back and forth to this serial killer. I think not even an episode. I think it was over the course of a whole season. But we're cutting to this regular dude as he's like doing stuff and like going about his like morning routine. And there's these small, subtle things here and there where you're like, okay, this guy's not just a regular guy. Like, pretty sure this guy's a serial killer. And then it comes into play later. But it's like, it's sparsely cut throughout the season or the episode, and even though this was just really the beginning of this episode where it's cutting back to that guy, it would just cut to him for a couple seconds, just to see him prepare. And I thought that was really well done, especially how he uses it later. Mon Mothma is a straight up tactical genius, honestly. She knows that she's being watched all of the time, and so I wonder if this is like a thing that she's had to do in the past, where she's pretty much had to like gaslight her husband. And maybe that's partly why he hates her, or why their daughter hates her, is because she's had to do these things in the past to cover things up. But she essentially like gaslights her husband into the idea of him gambling, even though he might not have been gambling, who knows. But it's purely because she knows the driver is listening to them, and that he will relay that information, and it can lay the groundwork for covering up her financial inconsistencies. And it's it's wonderful. The growing divide between Vel and Cinta was interesting, because Cinta is just so laser focused, and so she's got this like cold fury in her, right? Like, they talked about how in episode 5 or something, they talked about how her entire family was massacred by stormtroopers. So she's got this like internal revenge that she's been carrying for so long, and she is not going to let go of it, even for Vel. And Vel, I think, is not becoming disillusioned with the fight, but she doesn't want to give up her humanity and her love to the fight, if that makes sense. Like, she's still willing to participate in all this, but there are things that rub her the wrong way about the whole process. The callousness of Luthen, Cinta just kind of like, not like throwing away their relationship, but kind of throwing it away, kind of getting to a place where like they're not really together anymore, if that makes sense. It's just the fight now. Like, it was one thing, like, before everything kicked off, it was easier to pretend that they were really in a relationship, but now that the fight has truly kicked off, like, the pretenses are gone. Like, there's the relationship that was there isn't there anymore. I liked the flashback to Cassian's dad. I forgot Clem is his name. Just like, he goes and finds his brick, and it's just a quick memory. It doesn't have a huge like tie-in to the overall plot, really. It's just it's not like Arrow, where every flashback like directly paralleled what was happening in in the story, but it's like a beautiful sad memory with Clem of just bonding with him. And it had a little parallels of like, the people up top, they don't truly see what's down below the grit. And I liked that. I really enjoyed Cassian listening to the manifesto, where he's talking about how the people around the world, like the armies and the individuals, don't realize that they are already enlisted in this fight, whether that be the Empire forcing them to fight, or the fact that eventually the rebellion will come for them, right? Like this is becoming a fight that you cannot sit on the sidelines for, right? You have been conscripted before you even know it. I also loved that he was like, the front lines of the rebellion are everywhere. Like, in order for tyranny and fascism to maintain control, like, they can't just like loosely maintain control. Like, it's not natural. They have to be constantly, going farther and farther, and they have to constantly be applying this pressure, and eventually it breaks. Like, you cannot do that forever, especially when every small act of rebellion pushes the front lines forward. And it's just, it's setting, it's just, oh, it's so great. And he's like, one single thing will break the siege. And it's just like, oh, like, it's the message that it's sending of like, you know, we don't, when it comes to fighting against these things, when it comes to fighting against oppression and fascism and imperialism and racism and sexism and classism, all these isms, like, when it comes to fighting the fight against these things, we don't necessarily need, you know, a giant war or a giant campaign against them. You know, those certainly help, but every individual act against those things moves the front line forward, right? Like, people don't just be, like, people aren't born racist. People aren't born fascists. These things happen, right? They are taught. So anytime an individual decides that they are not going to participate in that set of ideals, it's a blow against it, right? It's not just a casual fight against it. It is integral. You could tie this into voting. When it comes to voting, you know, many people think, oh, my vote won't count. Like, I'm just one person. If I don't vote, who cares? This person won by 1 million votes anyway, whatever. But there are certain voting races where it comes down to the smallest amount of votes. Like the Georgia Senate race right now is in a runoff because one side or another showed up to vote. Like, when one individual thinks, oh, my vote won't make an impact, that's not just one person thinking that. That's a 1,000 people thinking that. That's 10,000 people that think my individual singular vote won't matter. But when you add that up, it matters. And when it comes to this fight, you know, as much as this is a Star Wars story, it absolutely feels like it's saying something so far beyond Star Wars. If that makes sense, right? Like one, it's emotional because we know the grand story of the entire saga. We know the fight against the Empire and the lives that it has taken within the story of, like, our favorite characters, the emotional impact that this fight has had on us as viewers. But for me personally, this episode felt like it was saying so much more, and it felt so much bigger than Star Wars. Like, this is my favorite episode of the season because of the message that it's sending, and it's so good. It's so freaking good. Anto Krieger died. That was a thing that happened. The scene in the kind of like gutter spot where I don't remember this character's name, the big guy, Cassian's friend. It starts with a B, I think. He gives Cassian Marva's final message where he's like, you know, tell him it's not his fault. Tell him he would. I wonder if she knows. Like, does she know that it was him? I assume maybe the hunt for Cassian by the Empire, maybe somehow it's gotten out that he was involved in Aldhani. That would be very interesting. I wonder. Because everyone knows they were looking for Cassian, right? But it's become such a concerted effort to find him that maybe Marva connected it. Because she said, you were the spark that lit this flame. And is that her, like, admitting to him that she knows he was the one that started this, essentially? Very curious. But then, you know, tell him I love him more than anything in the world. Oh, God. Just absolutely crushing. And then from the moment the bells start ringing, you know, she's like, oh, we got a couple hours before they ring the bells and like shift change and the funeral starts and all that jazz. And they start playing the music. Like, so many people were involved in this. This was not a poorly strewn together plan. This was planned. Like, the Daughters of Ferrix went hard with this. They had the band coming, and they had the entire town, like everybody, coming as the bells are clanging, and it's just beautiful. The music is like slow and haunting, but you can tell it's building and it's emotional, and every character involved, from Luthen to Val to Dedra to pretty much everyone that's not from here is seeing all this like, what the frick is going down? Like, this is not a casual thing. Like, it was, ooh, baby. I'm curious to see if they got some of the score, like, composer people to act in these scenes, like when they're playing the instruments, because I know from the special look before this show came out, they talked about how they had the score, like the band on set, so that these actors could act to the music in real time. I'm curious if they meant that just for like this, or if they meant that for everything, because it would totally make sense for this, where like if they had the actual people playing the actual music and acting within the scene, that would be really cool. But yeah, the Empire, they know what's happening. They bring out riot stuff. They approved a thing for 40 people, and there's hundreds of people here. And then, oh god, yeah, Marva's message, man, where she is like, she is recounting. She's like, you know, we gave a little bit here, we gave a little bit there, we were okay, and we forgot. You know, they came and they did this, they came and they took this, and when they left, we forgot about them because we had each other, right? Like, we were able to bond together. We didn't need to think about them because it was us, right? You know, you can look past these tragedies, and you can look past these atrocities that are being committed daily because you have each other. But eventually, when the visits stop and they decide, I'm going to stick around permanent styles, then it's not okay, right? I mean, it wasn't okay before, but what is her exact words? Like, it's so good. I need to rewatch her little thing. I also like her line where she's talking about how she always wanted to be lifted or whatever, when they're talking about, I wonder if this happens for every person. Like, every time someone dies, like, and they had a pre-recorded message, do they play that message for everyone to hear, and they kind of inspire the town. Marva talks about how she always wanted to be that person that was inspiring the town, and how it was always easier to wait to be inspired than to be inspiring. I think that's something a lot of people can relate to and take forward, of like, it's, especially us as individual people, oftentimes we think that we can't do anything that is going to be significant and inspiring and lead people forward. You know, we're not a politician that can enact some great change. We're not a celebrity. We're not a hero when it comes to certain things, but because it's easier to wait to be inspired by other people, sometimes you need to step up and be the one that inspires. And her talking about that was beautiful, and now that she's dead, she's the one that's inspiring. And the highlight of this episode is Marva's speech, and when she's talking about how we were sleeping. You know, we took their money and we ignored them. We kept the trade lanes open, and they left us alone. eventually they will stop leaving you alone. The message for people that don't want to get political, you know, they don't care about politics. You're asleep. The fight doesn't affect you now, but it will. They eventually, the fight will come to you. Eventually, someone you know or yourself will have something happen, and the fight will then be on your doorstep, and you will no longer be asleep. And just her being like, we've been sleeping. And she talks about how there was this darkness growing, and it's here in Ferrix, and it's not visiting anymore. And I was like, I was just bawling like a baby, essentially, this whole time. Like, one, it's beautiful, even if it's localized to just Star Wars, where she's like, the Empire is a disease. But anyone who knows anything, anyone who has any media literacy at all, knows that the Empire is not just a completely made up fictional entity, right? It is a direct parallel to fascism. It is a direct parallel to often in the past described as America, as, you know, American fascism. You know, even though the bad guys dress like Nazis, George Lucas, I believe, described and equated the Empire to America. So like the allegory of Star Wars is the fight against fascism, the rising spread of fascism in the world, and how it is taking place in our homes, in our neighbors' homes, and we've been asleep to it. And where it visited before, it is not visiting, it wants to stay. And it is never more alive than when we are asleep. Just, oh, the writing in this show is so good. So good. And I might be like preaching to the choir here, folks. Like, you might be watching this post-episode discussion being like, bro, like, we get it. You're a Democrat. Like, cool it on the anti-Republican stuff, brother. No. My answer is firmly no. I will not cool it. You know, I've had various comments here and there when I talk about political stuff that are like, hey, brother, ease off the politics. Or like, oh, you're one of those people. Yes, I am one of those people. Fascism sucks. Republican ideals, honestly, kind of suck. You know, far-right conservatism? Far-right conservative ideals suck. They're the worst, and we need to fight back against them, honestly, because people's rights are being stripped away daily. We have conservative politicians and talking heads on Fox News and on Twitter talking about how, you know, gay people and trans people are, you know, grooming our children and we need to fight back against it. And then someone goes into a gay nightclub and kills people. And we're supposed to act like that's normal. That's not normal. That is not okay. And that fight is not gonna stop. Like, those things are gonna keep happening. And we cannot be asleep to that. That is not something we can just sit back and ignore because we still have the loved ones in our lives, right? You know, that hatred and that bigotry is never more alive than when we are asleep. When we ignore those things and let them slide, they will continue and they will get worse. And sorry I'm getting emotional, but that was a huge thing that just happened in the news of a gunman going into a nightclub because they had some like drag event, and this person who's most likely been spurred on by conservative talking points saying that these people who are just trying to live their lives are grooming our children. It's a direct result of that, and it's just frustrating. So this episode was incredibly impactful to me, honestly, because it felt like it was saying so much more than just this is Star Wars, right? And Marva talking about how she's like, if I could go back to when I was young, to when I had the ability to live my life a certain way, however I wanted, when I wasn't, tied down to a family life or age or whatever, I would spend every waking second fighting these bastards. And it's like, yes, Marfa. Oh, like so good. And then the last 13 minutes of this episode, just pure chaos and rebellion in full swing. Just so emotional. Like seeing these citizens fight back against them, fight back against the Empire. And this kid with his little homemade pipe bomb, he's a master electrician, essentially, like getting revenge for his father. One quick thing. Don't, in real life, I know I'm talking a whole bunch about how, this is about so much more than Star Wars. In real life, please don't pipe bomb anyone. I feel like I should make that abundantly clear. Do not actually bring violence upon individuals. I think there's a clear difference between fighting against ideals of something and actually being violent towards the people that believe them. There are ways to fight against those people without murdering them, right? Just want to make that abundantly clear. Don't kill anyone. But within the context of Star Wars and this particular story, heck yeah, kid, throw that pipe bomb. Like, he throws a pipe bomb that, one, does some damage on its own, smoking people, but then it sets off like a chain reaction of like thermal detonators that just like eviscerate the entire square. It's just like, bro, that's insane. But then the stormtroopers are just like gunning these people down in the streets. And it's this frantic attempt to, one, rescue Bix, make sure all our main people stay alive, get B2 out, and just like this town fighting back against this. It was frantic and emotional and wonderful to see. Freaking Cyril Karn rescues Dedra Miro, and I thought they were going to kiss. He rescues her, and she was like, she almost got killed. Like, she was going to die. Kind of reminded me of like her acting in that scene, just desperation and pure fear for her life. Kind of reminded me of weirdly an episode of Game of Thrones, The Battle of the Bastards, when Jon Snow is getting like enclosed by the crowd and he's like panicking a little bit, trying to survive. Kind of reminded me of that a little bit. I legit thought they were gonna like kiss after he saved her, because like Cyril is #1 simp supreme for Dedra Miro. Like, he just like me for real. Just kidding. Don't simp for fascists. But Dedra, maybe. But it was just like, holy cow. Like, it was frantic as all heck. And then all our main homies get on this ship, and I'm thinking, like, oh my god, none of these people are in Rogue One. Like, we don't see a single one of these individuals later on in the Star Wars story. Hopefully we get, they just live happily ever after on some faraway planet that the fight never touches. Maybe we pick up on their stories later. I don't know. But I was like, I just know we don't ever see these people again in, maybe season 2, but beyond that, we don't see these people. So if they die right now, I'm gonna be upset. Like the tension of that scene, maybe it was just me internally building the tension, but it felt like they were about to get blown out of the sky. And maybe that was going to be what fully hardens Cassian. Because when we meet Cassian in Rogue One initially, like, he's killing people. Like, he's shooting informants. Like, he's doing what he needs to do. Like, he's got no hesitation to kill people. And he's a hard man and a cynical man. And, like, the fact that he gets to that point somehow... yeah, I thought maybe all his friends being brutally murdered in front of him might be the thing that fully hardens him to the cause. But no, they make it out, and we're happy about that. We get a quick scene of Mon Mothma giving away her daughter. We don't care about her daughter. She can die. Sorry. And then the closing scene of the season is Cassian being like, hey, brother, either kill me or take me in, because I am done sitting on the sidelines. Either I am going to join this fight for real, or I'm going to die. And, you know, I'm offering myself to you. Just either take me in or kill me. And then the season ends. Oh, and it's just like, bro. And then the post-credit scene. The post-credit scene of... literally, we see the parts that they were putting together in prison are like they're like the little connector pieces for the solar arrays, essentially, that focus the laser beam from the Death Star that blows up planets. So in prison, Cassian was literally building parts for the machine that will end his life in 4 years' time. Again, I saw some people theorize that a while back, but the fact that it like truly came to fruition is insane. Insane. And it's kind of a post-credit scene in the vein of, like, oftentimes we think a post-credit scene is like something that gets you hyped or excited going forward. This is kind of both, where it's like both of like it gets you, like, it's not that it gets you excited, but it's kind of like emotionally mind-blowing because we know, like, we have the knowledge of what that means going forward, like the looming presence of the Death Star. We have that knowledge. But it's also emotionally devastating realizing that Cassian was literally building his own demise in prison. And it's just, oh my God. I've been talking for a while though. I don't know how long I've been talking. Let's see. How long is my stopwatch? 1 hour and 32 minutes. Nice. This episode, in my opinion, best episode of the season, and the fact that they can make the finale episode the best episode of the season is a testament. Like, oftentimes the finale episodes of shows are good, but it's like, you know, they didn't quite stick the landing. They stuck the landing and they didn't move their feet. Like, it was a perfect 10 out of 10 Olympic vault, right? Like, ooh baby. Emotional from start to finish, superb writing, the performances, fantastic. Loved every performance in this episode. This season as a whole, I'm calling it, this might be the best first season of a television show I've ever seen in my life. And granted, it does come with the slight baggage of having to know some of these, like a little bit of Star Wars knowledge beforehand, right? Like, when you think of best shows, best singular seasons of shows ever, sometimes those first season stories are new stories and you don't need to know anything going in. I think if you have the context of all Star Wars that's come before this, this might be the best single season of a show ever. If you don't have any of that context, it might not mean as much to you, but it's still impeccable. Yeah, I said before the episode started that if they could stick the landing, this might be my favorite Star Wars thing ever. I think I can firmly say that now. This is better than Empire. This is better than the Clone Wars. This is better than The Mandalorian. This is the single greatest thing that Star Wars has ever produced. This is better than those plastic lightsabers that we used to fight with in the backyard. Like, this is, and maybe it's just me being an adult now and being able to appreciate storytelling of this nature, but I think I can confidently say this is, if you were to rank things that Star Wars has produced between animated and live action and comics and games and all that jazz, this is number one, and then a long way down is everything else. There's a huge gap between this at number one and everything else, in my opinion. It is the best thing Star Wars has ever made, and hopefully season 2 can continue the stellar production value, the stellar writing, stellar acting that this first season has produced. I am beyond thrilled with everything I've seen, and I feel eternally grateful, honestly, to be able to experience this type of storytelling. I talked a little bit about in episode 6 of The Sandman, if you watched that reaction, about how I want to be alive for a long time to be able to experience storytelling like this, to experience video games or TV show or movies that emotionally impact me. This is what I'm talking about. Can you imagine dying before this flippin' episode came out? Oh my god, like, I'm grateful that I am 27 years old and able to experience this fantastic show. Like, you know, if I was born 100 years ago, I would never have seen Andor. I would never have seen Star Wars. So the fact that I can see that now, I'm very grateful. I don't know what else to say. I talked a lot, both about this episode and about politics. I think I got pretty political in this post-episode discussion. So if you were unaware of where I landed politically before, I think you're probably keenly aware now, which is very interesting, because I'm a pretty big Christian. Like, I'm a Christian man who, I love Jesus, and I am intimately involved in my faith, but at the same time, I am fiercely liberally democratic. Like, very much hate the Republican ideals. And so if you are unaware of, before this episode, where I landed politically, yeah, you're keenly aware now, buddy. And so this has just been a fantastic time for me. Like, so very often, or so rarely, do you experience a piece of media that just, like, vehemently reinforces your political beliefs. and one that's, like, within one of your favorite fictional properties. Oh baby, like, I've been eating good this whole time. Like, I'm so grateful for this, and I can't wait to watch all these dumb Republicans cry bad tears. Like, I cried good tears in this episode. I can't wait to watch them seethe. I can't wait to see freaking goddamn Den of Nerds or Star Wars Theory or whichever, angry buttholes like the Quartering. I can't wait to watch these people just seethe and cope with how much Tony Gilroy and Star Wars in general told them to go F themselves. Like, oh, so happy. I couldn't be more happy. I'm beyond thrilled with how this season went and the direction of Star Wars going forward. If they can make more things like this, I will be a happy, happy boy. I think that's all I gotta say, though. Thank you for watching this season with me. Thank you for experiencing this episode with me. Definitely let me know what you guys thought of the episode down in the comments below. What did you think of the season as a whole? You know, going into this show, were you excited? I wasn't like jumping for joy about a Cassian Andor series, if I'm honest. I was just kind of like, you know, I'll check it out, and maybe if it's good, then it's good. But if it's not great, I'm not, you know, I'm not cheering at the announcement of Cassian Andor getting a show. But now that it's out and it's happened, this, like, it's, I look at my old self as a Dumbo. Like, what a moron, not excited for this show. Like, this is the single greatest piece of Star Wars media that exists. But no, form your own opinions. Don't just listen to me. I would love to hear what you guys think, though, in the comments below. Other than that, if you enjoyed my reaction, please leave a like on the video. It means a ton to me, helps my channel grow a lot. If you're new here or you find yourself coming back often, hit subscribe, ring the bell so you're notified when I upload, especially if you want to see me react to more Star Wars stuff in the future. And then if you want to see the full uncut version of this reaction, consider supporting me on Patreon. That is linked in the description below. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.